Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Notes from the field. You're watching the Wiley Report. These just tips, just thoughts I've had this week. I have been working on my research. I got research projects that I'm getting back to as a librarian. And it's solo projects and things that I'm working on in collaboration with others. And there's also my dissertation proposal. And I was really struggling this week with the theoretical framework, because for me, I just could not understand why it was so difficult for me. And it wasn't necessarily the comments that my committee had made, because I was reading the comments and then they had given me some examples illustrating how it was done for other people's work. I just too was battling my own inferiority feelings, imposter syndrome, my insecurities of, getting confidence confidence in standing in my own expertise, my own level of what I know, my own scholarship and writing abilities, as well as dealing with the fact that I just couldn't understand why it was difficult, because I have written journal articles, and I know journal articles, dissertation proposals are different just in terms of the words. We know they're different processes. Yet what I was thinking about most was like, well, why can't I do this? Because haven't I not done theoretical framework in some aspect when writing an article? And while this isn't necessarily the same process, there are similarities, are there not? And so I was just really, dealing with that this week, and really the aha moment that I had yesterday was like, writing article. When you think about like the process of writing an article, you do the study first, and then you write the theoretical framework. So your analysis, after you've already done the study, informs your theoretical framework. Whereas in this process, you're thinking about it from the beginning. It's every part of the design phase. And it's also that experience of proving, justifying, and applying. And while you're proving in the sense that you're illustrating your knowledge in an area or field as the literature that relates to your study, you're not proving you. Why you matter, why they accepted you in this program. You're not proving that. You're not justifying you. You're not applying you. They're asking questions about clarity, precision, justification about the research. And so they're not coming for you. They're not. Or at least in my case, they weren't. They're not, at least in my case. This is my life, my experiences. They're not coming for me. It's explanation. It's thinking about the fact that, yes, it's true, I've been working on this topic since May, but there are people in the room that have not been reading it as often as I have. There are people who have never thought about this subject at all. It's not their area of interest at all. So how do you translate this information to that audience, in as much as it could be people that work in similar areas? And I was just like, that was such a big aha for me. I'm like, because you're talking about your methods and your theoretical approach, and you're thinking about, that's the reason why somebody could take your topic and they could go in multifaceted ways. Because that's also why it's fascinating to do research, is because so many people have different thoughts. And you already know that, because think about the papers that we read. If I use examples of papers in data management, I've done focus groups, I've done interviews, I've done content analysis, yet I've read other scholars that have done those same methodologies, and their theoretical approach was not the same that I did on any of the articles that are already published. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means people see things in a different way. And in the dissertation proposal, you're talking about the early design phase from the beginning, before you've collected any data, before you've done the study in itself. And how do you explain that? And I was just like, oh my gosh. Now it makes sense. And it's also the fact that you also face your own insecurities and inferiority feelings and in the process. And then there's also the reality that sometimes when we think about what it is that we study, we might not necessarily have scholarship in terms of publications, like in my case when I think about like my dissertation research, but I have lived experience, embodied knowledge in the field, but I don't have publications in race, digital studies, and intersectionality yet. So you're dealing with it's so many things that you're facing. And then you're also, when you think about like your topics that you're talking about in your research, I'm facing my own ideologies, the things that I have believed, the things that have been said to me in these areas. Is it still true? Is it not true? The harm that I have experienced, the harm that I might have caused with problematic, beliefs within myself, like internalized stuff. So you're dealing with all of that in the writing room. And and it just felt really helpful to really think about that in the theoretical framework. What we're really talking about is your justification, clarification, and approach for this study, this research. How are you going to frame that? Why would you choose that? Walk someone through your thinking process of how you see that. Not you're wrong, not you're incapable, not you're unable to do that. And I'm not saying that that's what my committee was saying. I'm not saying that. I'm not insinuating that. They have not been problematic in any way. They're great. I'm just saying I was just really dealing with the fact that when I was writing, I was facing that. So we're friends again in terms of me in the theoretical framework. So I got a really good draft and I feel good about it. And now we're moving on to the methods. Thanks for listening. Notes in the field. Peace.